This is chapter 7, which is part of organic chemistry, and the name of the chapter is alcohols, phenols, and ethers. From this chapter, the topic that we are going to study today is the ethers. Talking about ethers, ether is oxygen containing compound as you can see in this picture, and the oxygen is bonded to two alkyl groups. This R denotes the alkyl or the aryl groups. Alkyl means that hydrogen is removed from the alkane. For example, you have methane, which is CH4, and if you remove the hydrogen, it becomes CH3, CH2, and so on. So from methane, it becomes methyl, ethyl, propyl, or butyl. Aryl group which has aromatic ring, and from that aromatic ring the hydrogen is removed. So the basic difference between the alkyl or the aryl group is that in alkyl group you have saturated hydrocarbon single bond, and for aromatic ring aryl you have the double bond. So it is the organic compounds which is characterized by the oxygen atoms that contain two alkyl or the aryl groups. The general formula for ether is ROR. Keep in mind that in ether we have one oxygen atom and two separate alkyl or aryl chains. One chain is on the left hand side and the other chain is on the right hand side. That's why I have used the word separate. Talking about the types of ethers, we have two types of ethers depending on the alkyl group type that is attached to the oxygen. If the alkyl groups are of same type, they are called as symmetrical or simple ether. And if they are different, then it is called as the unsymmetrical or mixed ether. Here are the example. In the first example, you can see that the functional group is ether and the alkyl group that is bonded to oxygen is methyl, as well as the second alkyl group is also methyl, which means you have the same alkyl group. Since the alkyl group is same, it is the symmetrical ether, which is also known as the simple ether. The second example, here you can see that on one side you have two carbons, that is ethyl, and on the other side you have one carbon, that is methyl, which means both the separate alkyl chains are different. So that is the unsymmetrical, which is also called as the mixed ether. In the next example, you can see that oxygen is bonded to the phenyl ring, that is the aryl group attached. On left side you also have phenyl that has 6 carbons, and on right hand side you also have the phenyl group attached which also contains the 6 carbon. Since the aryl group is same, so it is called as the symmetrical ether or the simple ether. For the final example, you can see that we have two separate alkyl groups attached. Here, one is aryl group and the second is the alkyl group, which means you have two different groups attached. So it is the unsymmetrical ether, which is also known as the mixed ether. Now the self-assessment question that I have added, that among these, which one is symmetrical and unsymmetrical? The first is ethyl phenyl ether and the second is dimethyl ether. So the first one, that is ethyl phenyl ether, is the unsymmetrical because here you have ethyl and phenyl and these two groups are different. Whereas for the second case you have dimethyl, which means two methyl groups are attached to the oxygen. So the groups are same. Here is the picture as well, the structure for your better understanding. You can easily see that in dimethyl ether we have the same group, so it is symmetrical or simple. Whereas for the ethyl phenyl ether we have different groups, so it is the unsymmetrical, which is also known as the mixed ether. You might get this in your multiple choice question answers, so make sure that you choose the correct answer and get full marks for that specific question. Symmetrical ether is also called as the simple ether. Unsymmetrical are also termed as the mixed ether. Talking about the structure of ether, as it is an oxygen containing compound, and we know that oxygen has two lone pairs of electrons. Along with the alkyl groups that are already bulky in size, larger in size. So we already have the repulsion, the steric hindrance, and with the addition of the two lone pairs of electron, the electronic repulsion increases. So here you can see that the bond angle here has increased to 110.5 degree. Talking about the hybridization will be the sp3. The bond angle is 110.5 degree. And why is it so? Because of the two lone pairs of oxygen along with the bulky alkyl groups that are attached to the oxygen. This leads to the geometry of the bent shaped. If you watch carefully, the structure is drawn in the shape of bent. It is bent structure. Keep in mind the hybridization is sp3. We have two alkyl groups attached, that is the larger size atom or the group of atom. Oxygen has two lone pairs of electrons. Therefore, due to the greater internal repulsion of the hydrocarbon part and the external repulsion of the two lone pairs of oxygen, the bond angle becomes 110.5 degree. This leads to the geometry of bent shaped. The hybridization here is sp3. So in this video, we have discussed about the ethers, their general formula, their classifications with self-assessment questions and the structure of ether. We also have the preparation and reactions for the ether that I will make a detailed video for your understanding. Make sure that you are watching the videos completely to have a better grip on the topic, and when you attempt this question in your board examination, you attain full marks. You can also prepare notes from the video and rephrase it, or you can also write it down in the same thing, and you will be getting full marks in your board examination. So this is the ether, which is an oxygen containing organic compound. This is all for today. Thank you.